Good afternoon and welcome to ArchiNet Talks. Today's guest is Mr. Francesco Spaziari. He's going to talk about the culture is power, storytelling, and marketing principles for architects and interior designers.
And I want to say, first of all, Salam alaikum, rahmatullah wa barakatuh to everyone.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
And thanks a lot for the invitation. It was a surprise and was very happy to receive your invitation.
Thank you for accepting our invitation, and you may start your talk.
Yes, let's start. I have prepared some very sophisticated slides for this talk. So I'll take the first one. It's a very advanced technology. And so here I'm going to show you, first of all, what I'm going to talk, what I will talk about today. So I'll first of all introduce myself. Then I will talk about the 4 P's of marketing, and specifically for architects and interior designer, but for everyone. And then I will, in the end, explain what I mean by culture is power, talking about storytelling and communication principles. So let's start introducing myself. That seems to be the easiest tasks, but it's never very easy. What I usually do to introduce myself is to talk a bit about myself personally, and then I'll talk about my professional side. So regarding Francesco, I am Italian. I live in Dubai. I'm married and I love my wife. I love life in general. I love architecture. I love interior design. I love beauty in general. And since 2 years, I started during the lockdown, posting weekly on LinkedIn, in my blog, that I call it Culture is Power. And what I do is try to crystallize moments and concepts to get inspired, first of all, to inspire myself. I do it, and hopefully to inspire other architects and designers. From the professional point of view, I studied back in 2006, I finished, and I studied architecture and engineering. Then I worked for 4 years in Milan as an architect for an important studio, I have to say, specialized in sports venue, Studio Zoppini Associati. Then I opened my own studio of architecture. I was young, 30 years old, and it was a great experience. For 4 years with some partners, I had this office, and we worked in the architecture field and interior design. Then Saudi Arabia called me, my good friend Mazen Al-Ahmad, and I joined him in Kobar, first as art director for his great company, future ceramic company, Al-Mushtaqbal Sharika, for porcelain and ceramic tiles. And I was the art director, but very soon I became the marketing manager for the company. So I worked for 4 years as a marketing manager for the company. And then I moved to Dubai, and I became a business developer manager. So I changed a bit step by step my DNA, I usually say, and working in sales, in business development. Now I'm very proud. I'm very happy that since only 1 month, I am the export manager for Middle East, Africa, and India for a Colombini group that is a worldwide leader of in the furniture sector. So it's a big thing for me. I'm truly happy. I'm ready to do this job, and is what I wanted. So it's great. And let me tell you a couple of things more about Colombini Group. This will help me to introduce the concept of the 4 P's of marketing. So let's talk for a moment about one of the several brands of Colombini Group, that is Febalcasa. I think you know it. This is the logo of Febalcasa. which is an extraordinary brand for furniture, let's say premium design Italian furniture. We have more than 200 showroom mono-brand around the world. Last year we opened in Dubai, in Sheikh Zayed Road, together with our partner Al Shamsi. Good news, we are going to open in a few months in Riyadh too. So with our partner ETAB International, will be in the Diriyah Gate area. And I can tell you that I am in love with this brand, and especially for one reason, because yeah, first of all, it's beautiful product. I mean, talking about kitchen, living room, bedroom for kids, with the concept that we call total living. But the reason I love it particularly is because I can actually afford to buy the product of this brand. So yeah, it's definitely not cheap. So I have to start saving money. But you know, it's not a typical super luxury brand, Italian brand that is hardly affordable. It's just for really super rich people. We have also one brand, luxury brand in the group of Colombini Group, which is Rossana, and the kitchen are outstanding. I will never have the money to have one Rossana kitchen for me, but for Feba, I'm saving. And yeah, so let's go to the 4 P's of marketing. I have another super slide here somewhere. 4 P's of marketing. Product, price, placement, and promotion. This is a concept goes back in the 50s in America that has been created by 2 marketers, but I believe it's still a good way to understand more about what is marketing and how to structure a business and yeah, to have a bigger impact on the market. Product, price, very simple thing. So for example, in Fable, I said the product is the furniture, the living room, the kitchen, and the bedroom. So the total living. The price, I said, which is the range of price of this product. Placement, I told you, we are in the main cities in the world. We are in Dubai, we're going to open in Riyadh. I can add more. We're going to open in Mumbai this year, and in India in 5 different locations. It's fantastic. I will travel to India very soon to talk with our partner. And promotion. This is what I just did. I promoted my brand. But now, so this, as you can see, are very, very simple principles. And what I can tell you is that when I studied marketing for the first time, I took a book of my brother who studied marketing in school. I studied architecture and engineering. But I studied deeply that book, and then I studied more. But the first thing that came to my mind is that, I mean, marketing is, in the principle, is nothing too difficult, in my opinion. It's mainly like common sense, but extremely well organized. So let's go a bit deeper for each of these P. Okay, from the product, and let's talk about architect and interior designer business, because your is an art, but it's also a business. Don't forget it. So the product, I believe, first of all, you have really to ask yourself, which is the service that you are providing to your client. What do I mean by that? Of course, you are an architect, interior designer. I know what you are doing, but there are 2 ways to approach a market. One way is called product-oriented approach, that is by the marketers. The American market is not recommended. And the other way is the market approach. So market needs. So it means the first one, the product-oriented approach, that's the right word, product-oriented or market-oriented approach. The product-oriented approach is simply, I can tell you with my experience, I was specialized in a sports venue. And when I opened my own practice, the first thing I wanted to do is to do sport venues, because I was very good at in this specific segment of the market. So I started checking for client in this sector, but in my area, I pretty quickly, not super quickly, but I came to know that that specific kind of architecture was not needed at all. So I had to start working more in residential and in other things. Yeah, so I suggest you to study the market, to study the needs of a market, and how can you study them. I think there is nothing so complicated. I mean, of course, companies like very well organized, like COLOMBINI Group, we have tools in our hand and market research very, very strong. But even for small or medium-sized businesses, I suggest you to do surveys, to ask first of all to your friends, to your clients, to ask a lot, ask many questions. For example, if you have friends working in the real estate business, I think they can give you a lot of insight on which are the trends, on which are the needs. Then, of course, study, check on Google. If you have a social media platform, run some survey, okay? Try to gain information. And so maybe you will find out that what you are pushing, the service that you are pushing in the market is not exactly the one requested. The marketing is about looking for the client needs, okay? And then provide them solution, not vice versa. And yeah, so, okay, then price, let's skip to price. No, and there is another thing that is very important about the product. Yeah, because once you understand which are the services that are needed in the market, you have to profile, this is a piece of advice I give you, to make a profile of your target client. So if you are, for example, in Saudi Arabia, I know that the hotel segment is going to boom, I believe. So it's probably, if you are good in interior design, you're good, you have like a portfolio and you can approach this segment of the market. What I suggest you to do is to write a long list of all the hotels operator of the target client. Do you have a list of your potential client? It's key. Write it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The more the list is long, the better it will be for you, and the easier it will be for you to approach them and to have a structure in your business. Then price. Yeah, price is a very important thing. We're doing business, and so product has prices. Yeah, probably you're thinking, I don't do a product, don't sell a product as an architect. Of course, you're providing services. But the 4 P's of marketing are working well also for services. And I know that you're selling knowledge, you're selling your artistic side, you're selling, I mean, you're providing a service that is very artistic. But I want you to think sometimes when you do this marketing research and you approach the business in this way, to think as your service as a product, like a piece of furniture, okay? And so when you go to buying a piece of furniture, of course, the price is very important. And you need to have a strategy for your price. You have to be able to position your business in the segment of the market and with price-wise, okay? And you always have, my personal piece of advice, you have always need to be able to talk about costs. So when you talk with the client, of course, you'll go home and you make the quotation specific for his needs, but give him an idea of what he's going to spend. Okay. Placement. Yeah, your business is not retail, of course. So it's not about putting a product in a shop and then tell people to go there, see the product and buy it. But your service you need to be visible. You need to have a place where you can direct your clients. And this space, of course, is physical, is digital, is a social media platform, is, in my opinion, extremely important, of course, is the website. But I want to tell you, for my work and for my passion also, I go through a lot of websites for interior designers and architects, and they are beautiful. I fell in love with them. But most of the time, I have to say, I find them like sort of museums, okay, that I love to see them. But you're selling there. That is your like showroom, okay? So keep it in mind. Keep it when you do even your website, think as you are a client. So if you are a client that wants to do his villa, you enter in a website and check it and say, okay, beautiful things, absolutely, but what is exactly that they are doing? And I mean, your clients for a villa, for example, most probably they are not architect or interior designer. So they want to know more in detail, what is the service that you provide, and how do you provide it, together with the help of who. So bear it in mind, the placement and even the physical space. It's important, okay? You may work from home, you may work from an office, but that place is where you show, I mean, your service, and is where you gain trust from your client. So keep it in mind that the place, it's important. Promotion is definitely a big thing. And I want to start saying that promotion is just not social media, is not just internet marketing or putting banners somewhere. No, there are many ways to promote your service. And for my experience, I've worked here in Dubai and in Riyadh and in Middle East with most of the major and successful architecture consultant and interior design consultant. And my personal piece of advice, also because I did that specific job of the business developer, is to invest a lot in also in direct marketing. Let's call it in business development. Let's call it in sales. Let's call it in knocking doors, making phone calls, sending email, okay? And I want to tell you why I believe this part of the business is so important. Refer to my experience when I started my own company for architecture and interior design. Yeah, very soon I understood that I needed a client, and I needed pretty a lot of client to survive. And what did I do? Yeah, I tried to hang out with the friends of mine that were rich, proposing them to do a villa for them or some. Didn't work very well. Luckily, the father of one of these rich people asked me for a job, then a bit of a word of mouth, and I did a few jobs that I'm very proud of in my small little city, Montecchio Emilia in Italy. And but to be honest, I've never generated enough business, you know, to be happy, to feel fine, to feel I was building something strong, okay? And that's one of the reasons. Also, I changed my path, and I came and I went to Saudi Arabia. Then a few years later, I worked as a business development manager, but I can say executive, okay? And which was my routine? My routine was the same at the beginning, the same as everyone: waking up, having a shower, breakfast, But then I was going to the office and checking my my list of clients, my list of prospects, so the potential client, and I started and used to start calling, sending email, follow up, doing presentation, okay, providing the service, bring samples, going back, make a quotation, again, make a phone call, I mean, all day long, like a hammer. And all my colleagues were doing the same, like boom, boom. Our only job was to create opportunities. We were not thinking about how can I do this? No, it's just focus on bringing home opportunities. Were we successful? Yes, a lot. And I tell you more, I started from zero that job. And in the first year, especially year and a half, it was extremely tough. Okay, because you knock at the door and they shout the door. I mean, you architect interiors shouted a lot of doors in my face. So it's something, it's not nice. But I was persistent, and after a couple of years, my phone was constantly ringing, and my email, daily I was receiving requests for my products. And so I really suggest you to keep this experience of mine in mind. Of course, the important designer, architect practice, they know, and they have extremely good business developers team, okay? And I think this is part of the success of their business lays in having great business development team, okay? Apart from doing an excellent job, and okay, but you know, bringing clients home is fundamental. You can be the best designer, the best interior designer in the world, but without client, your project will stay in the computer. This is the harsh reality, unfortunately. Yeah, but then let's pass to nicest. For now, I've talked just about business and using words like sales, marketing, segmentation. Okay, there's nothing. There's nothing in common with culture. Okay, that is my motto, and I agree with you in a certain way. So now let's talk about communication and how important is it for the business. And I'll tell you what do I mean by culture is power, and how you can use culture to succeed, to increment your business. I start with a story, okay? As I told you, I worked as an architect with my own office, and it was not easy, especially financially. I started in the middle of the big European and world crisis in 2000. I started in 2010. Pretty crazy, but you know, when you are young, you feel strong that you can do anything. And one day, yeah, I tell you, financially, after 2-3 years that we were doing project, we had passion, but the energy was starting getting a bit low because you know, you put a lot of effort, but the cash flow was not as we wish. And a politician, an Italian politician, said in the TV, "With culture, you don't eat." And I said, shit, sorry for the word. It was a pain in my chest. And why? Because I studied a lot. I mean, most of my life till that moment was about studying. I mean, I graduated when I was 26. In Italy, we graduate very late. We study a lot, maybe too much. You know, I studied architecture. I studied art. I studied history of architecture. I studied many things related to culture. And in the high school, it was all about the literature. It was all about psychology, it was about philosophy, art again, and this kind of subjects that you feel that they are teaching you, you feel that must be important. I will use them in my life and in my career for sure. Everybody's studying them, and I tell you, when I studied architecture and engineering like together, let's say, but I fell in love with architecture. Why? Because in architecture I could use philosophy, I could use all this kind of inspiration to create my project, to create the concept of my project. So I said, everything I've studied, I mean, the inspiration I had reading that book or watching that movie or analyzing nature or analyzing the history of a country, and I had a spark, I can use it. I can put it in my project, okay? This is the reason why I fell in love with architecture. And when that politician said, with culture you don't eat, I felt really this pain, because in that moment I felt he was saying it was right. I mean, I was struggling financially. It was not easy to put food on the table, let's say like that. And probably this is the reason why I changed my path and I went into the marketing sector and then in the sales. Yeah, I have no regrets. I'm very happy now. But when the lockdown started, of course, that was lockdown, and this pandemic has been terrible. I mean, it's devastating. But on the other hand, I think me and many people had the opportunity really to think, to stay at home, look themselves in a mirror. I personally had a lot of hot baths with music and candles and meditating and understanding why anyway I was not feeling totally okay with what I was doing. I mean, at that point of time, I was a business developer executive. So working with that routine that was very close to a performance, it's like a sport performance more than an intellectual work of, I said, I need to harmonize my knowledge, my passion for cultural things with what I'm doing, what I learned from marketing and from sales, because I know, I felt it on my skin that these things, that the 4 Ps and everything around business is so important in our life. I mean, we cannot hide behind whatever. I mean, money, we need to bring money home. And I'm talking not just as an entrepreneur. It's not only for entrepreneur, only if you are an employee, like I am an employee now, and I'm happy to be part of a great team. But these principles are helpful for you to understand your career. I mean, you can consider yourself like a service provider for your company if you are an employee. And a wise man once told me that if you are an employee, it's like you are an entrepreneur with just one client. So you have to treat your client very well. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I said, I have to harmonize. I have to bring back culture and passion and what I am into my daily work. I cannot keep this thing just for when I go back home and I read a book and or something. Let's try to put it in my daily routine and work. And I said routine, yeah, for a reason, because I try to change my way of communicating. And when I say my way of communicating, it's not only in social media, and also with my wife or with my friends. And I said, let's try to put, I mean, cultural things on the table. Let's, if something related to psychology or philosophy or art pass through my mind while I'm doing a conversation with a friend, why don't take it out, put it on the table, talk about culture, okay? And I did the same, of course, in my LinkedIn blog, where I say, let's try to promote my product, but in a different way. Let's try not to say, this is a beautiful product, this is that, the qualities, the benefits. No, let's make a post like it was an architecture project. And so when you do an architecture or interior design project, you have to find the concept. And you create I can call it that crystal castle, okay? This perfect crystal castle that is only in your mind. It works perfectly. It worked perfectly for you, mainly from the artistic point of view. And so I said, let's try to do this in the post. I started feeling happy doing this thing. And step by step, I improved. And then I was not only talking about products, I was talking about experiences, about concept. As I said at the beginning, I try to crystallize concept, try to inspire people and inspire myself first while I'm doing the thing. This is very important. I mean, and so I said, let's do at least once per week. Let's take like 2 hours on Saturday morning. Let's put some effort in the storytelling of my post. And then the newsletter came, many things came. And today, after just 2 years since I started the blog, I'm here talking in such an important platform of ArchiNet. And I found a job that I was dreaming about it, okay? Incredible company that I work for. And so I suggest you to try to do the same. I'm not telling you this is the secret to become a millionaire. I'm no millionaire, but now I'm pretty happy. I'm happy, to be honest. It's a wonderful moment. And I keep on growing. I keep on growing, I'm not saying daily, but weekly, in learning new things, investing my time in a bit in culture. I tell you, I'm not a professor of anything, okay? You know, I'm an architect. I have a lot of things like my library here behind. I like to take concepts from psychology, then I skip to art and mix them together. And there is also one thing that I want to tell you about culture that I think is the best definition I found along the way. Is attributed, I mean, they say it was Albert Einstein. I'm not sure because, you know, Albert Einstein for Google have said almost anything. Anyway, Albert Einstein said that culture is what remain after you studying a lot and you forget everything, okay? So you studied 10 books, you forget all of it. What stay with you is culture, okay? And so this, I believe, is true. I don't have a good memory. I forget what I read, but so this is very encouraging for me, this definition, but I think it's true. One more thing about culture. Studying, being curious, reading about anything, whatever is cultural, art, philosophy, architecture. Architecture for me is the most important of all the art. Once I read a person saying it's the greatest of the art because it holds in itself all the other one, okay? So I believe with culture, you become a better person. Keep on studying and you keep on becoming a better person. And we need better person in this world. And probably, I know for sure, this is the reason, the main reason why we study so much in the high school is not to become engineers or become marketers or businessmen. It to become person, people, fathers, mother, brothers. Okay, this is the key. But at the same time, I can tell you two things. First, in business, the better you are, the best person you become, the better person you become, the better you are in business, a better salesman you become. I mean, people want to have business nowadays with good people, okay, with people they inspire, they can inspire, they can be trusted, okay, with people with values, especially for a service like architecture or interior design, where your clients puts in your hand a lot of money, a lot of your dreams. What do you think? They want to talk with a shark, a business shark that wants to make as much money as possible? I don't think so. I don't think so. They want to talk with good people, and with culture, daily reading, implementing things, you become daily a better person. In a never-ending story, there are always to learn, and we will never stop. This is what is beautiful in being interested in culture in general. Okay, and so what do I mean by culture is power? I mean that you are architects, you are engineers, you are interior designer, you are people of culture, you are people that have studied a lot, that can see things, get inspiration from I don't know where, from you see things others don't, okay? And you have studied a lot, and you are interested in things other people don't see much. My piece of advice is not to use this knowledge and this creativity and this inspiration just for your product, just for your piece of architecture, just for your piece of interior design, but use it daily. Use it daily in your communication, the communication with your friends, with your clients. Please mix the cultural communication with the principles I told you before. And then in this case, if you'll be able to do it, I think you will act as a magnet with your clients. You will attract them as a magnet, okay? So I'm talking especially to of course, to the young one, to the young architect and interior designers, that they have the dream they have their dream, and you have to go for these dreams, but I learn from my mistakes when I had my company. And architecture is a business, and use everything you have. You are a fantastic person. I know most of my friends are creative architects and interior designers, and you'll be successful in this way. You know why? Because culture is power. Show you here last. Culture is power. Thank you. Amina, can you hear me?
I am here. Yes. Thank you very much for your talk. We will be waiting for the questions to be answered. Just let me see.
Sure. If there are questions, much appreciated.
I have a question received from, if I'm not wrong in the name, it's Julia. Thank you, Francesco. May I ask you, how much time should architects dedicate to business development?
Yeah, this is a good question. Of course, it depends how big is your firm or your company. Of course, if it's big, you have a team. I suggest you to have a team specialized. If you are 3 partners, okay, we want to do 3 partners. My piece of advice, I mean, I tell you, it's not a rule, but my piece of advice, one of them, just do business developer. Just focus on the business developer side. So just do what I did, at least at the beginning, at least for 2 years, 2-3 years, knock doors. Write down the list of prospects, meet them, sell them, okay? Sell them your service. When I say sell, for me, selling is a very good word. I used to be extremely scared by this word. I mean, when I was an architect, I said, I'm like an artist, you know, I do my thing, I put it in my in my website. Go check it if you like it. It's my pleasure to talk about prices, but I mean, if you don't like it, no problem. I mean, I'm an artist. This is beautiful. It's not like that. I mean, we have to persuade and convince our clients that our job is good and is worth to be paid. So selling, there's nothing wrong in selling, is a word that is very important in business. Make it familiar. And yeah, if you are alone, it's hard. If you are alone doing your business as a freelancer, I don't know, but I think at the beginning, at least 50% of your time dedicated to business development. Yeah, you can do, you are an architect, you can work at night, very good at working at night on the projects. During the day, find clients. Everything, when you build your network, when you have regular clients, everything will be easier. You know, so it's worth to invest really a lot of time to create that base, so that the phone will start ringing and you will sleep well, better at least. No, you will not sleep because you are designing at night. Just kidding. Thank you. I hope it was a good, the answer was okay. Any other questions?
Yes. I'm gonna read just one moment because it okay. Who do you think is the best living architect who applies the principle of 4P you taught us today?
Well, first of all, I believe that all the great architects, I don't know if they knows about the 4Ps, but as I said, for marketing in the principle is common sense. So they are very aware of how the business works. All of them, all the successful one, okay? And of course, the first one that comes to my mind is Pierre Kingels. He's a genius of marketing, okay? We know he's a genius of communication. And I know also in Riyadh, a big project of Pierre Kingels soon is coming, the huge King Salman Park. But yeah, about the great designer, about the great architect, I studied them because I'm very passionate about, let's call them Archistar. And what I can tell you that there is just one thing they all have in common, and it's not being super creative, is they are fantastic communicator. Okay, all of them, they inspire you when they talk. I mean, you say, what? I mean, this guy is super. And so invest. And I tell you that all these people, they already looks like they are saying things normally. I mean, like taking a coffee with the friends. They are always very relaxed. It's not like that. They prepare their speeches, their sales pitch. Those are not speeches. Those are sales pitch. I mean, they are selling. They are inspiring people. They are, and in this way, they are selling. Okay, they are selling their service, and there is nothing wrong. And when I say culture is power, I say there is nothing wrong in mixing inspiration, culture, and sales. I mean, this is the concept for me of culture is power. Use the culture as Renzo Piano, as Zadid used to do, of course, Za herself, and now Patrick Schumacher and his team. Inspire with culture, and in the same time you will sell. Okay, I hope the answer is you appreciate the answer.
Okay, we have a question from Soha. Networking and who do you know, is it this crucial?
Networking, yeah, this is crucial.
And who do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I said when I talk about business development, this is all about networking, okay? But it's not going to a party. For me, okay, going to a party is good, and networking with the right people in the business, the decision makers is good. But what I want to say that business development, okay, is not about just going to the party. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. So if you have someone that can do just in your just this thing in your company, this is perfect. I mean, someone whose job is just to bring home opportunities, not doing design. Waking up and say, okay, today I have this list. I have to contact, connect, and talk with all these developers. Okay, I want to talk with. It's not easy to talk with a decision maker inside a big developer, but the job of the business developer is to find a way to knock at that door, make a big smile, and influence that person and bring business home. And one more thing, I believe that the owner of every company, okay, have to be the first business developer. So if you have, like, let's say you are 3 partners, okay, so there is, in my opinion, one should do just, this is my personal opinion, but one should just do business development, should just bring try to bring client in the place, so in your office or at home or in a pub, whatever, okay, in the lobby of a hotel, but bring in a place. Then the owners, they need all to be able to sell. Again, I use this word, but to influence this person. So networking is crucial. And I add one more thing, especially in the architecture and interior design business, because if I sell with the Colombini group and with Febalcasa, we have beautiful products. Okay, we put them in the showroom. Of course, we have incredible interior designers that assist the client in our showroom, and they sell the product to our client. But they are consultant, you know, selling, but they are consultant. I forgot what I wanted to say. The concept. So the importance, yeah, of I really forget exactly what I wanted to say, but the networking is important, but it's important to do it in the right way, in a professional way. Don't keep it for night. Okay.
We have one more question. What do you think about furniture world in 2023? I mean, as a selling percentage after the COVID.
Furniture, sorry?
The question is, I'll read it again. What do you think about furniture world in 2023? I mean, as a selling percentage after the COVID period.
Well, during 2022 has been a great year for all the Italian companies selling products for interior design, both in the European market and in the world market. It has been an incredible year, okay? So this is definitely due to the fact that people during COVID, they spent more time at home, and they totally understood the importance of living in a good environment, in an environment that can inspire them, where they feel safe, they feel good. We as interior designers, probably we already knew this, okay? But yeah, the staying at home so much time, many people realized the importance of our home. And so for 2023, I mean, I'm very optimistic, especially for our brands, but especially because we are doing a great job. It's difficult to forecast which will be the market in this moment due to the wars and let's say the world order that is changing. So for now it's going great, and I see a bright 2023 for all the interior design sector. especially in renovation. Especially, I mean, in Middle East, if I have to say in UAE, I see a great market for renovation. Saudi Arabia is doing incredible things, so I expect a lot from the Saudi market, with the opening of, especially with the opening of our new showroom. Any other questions?
Yes, one last question. Before you spoke about let me tell the name first. It's from Alessandra. Before you spoke about failure, so I'd like to ask you, work-wise, how do we understand if we are doing the right thing without being discouraged or giving up? What give you inspiration and power to reinvent yourself and become a better person apart from culture? Maybe let us go one by one. Shall I ask again the first part?
Yes, please, because the question is...
Okay, so it's a bit long. Before you spoke about failure, so I'd like to ask you, work-wise, how do we understand if we are doing the right thing without being discouraged or giving up?
Yeah, this is very difficult to give an answer to this. What I can tell you from my experience is that, I mean, the world, the internet, every YouTuber said, never give up, go, go, go. I'm not like that, okay? I believe if you have a passion, if you have a vision, if you have a dream, and especially if you are young, and when I say young, I say before you are 40, okay? Maybe better 35 even. Do it, try it. Don't be worried to waste your time. You're not wasting your time. In my business, I can say I failed because I didn't succeed. I wanted to become an Archi star and I didn't succeed. I mean, I was not able really to, I mean, it was not good, the business. But in those 4 years, I learned so much. After those 4 years, I was able to consider myself a man. Before those 4 years, I think I was a kid, still a kid. So first of all, so go. My piece of advice is, if you have a dream, if you see that it's possibly you can succeed in the dream, go for it. And of course, visualize and try to make the best. But to do the best, you use the principle. I mean, the piece of advice I give you is not just go and, unfortunately, in architecture and interior design, we don't study anything of marketing and business when we are at the university. I think it would be, I don't know, at least in Italy. But as I told you, it's not such a difficult subject in its principle. And so I really advise you to take a book of marketing principle, starting from the 4 Ps, analyze and structure your dream as a proper business. Okay, this will increment your possibility to succeed. Then, I mean, every day there are startups that comes out, and I don't know which is the percentage of the one that after 3 years are still there. So, and the people who are failing, they're not doing anything bad. I mean, they are learning, they have learned, they will start again, maybe with another company or with a new job as an employee, and they will have, in Italy we say, bigger shoulder, okay? They will be much stronger. A failure makes you very strong. It's tough, it's hard, but it makes you strong. Then, understanding the moment where you say, okay, I should pushing again, or I should give up. This is only you that you can decide. I tell you, be brave, be courageous. Of course, don't give up before like at least 2-3 years if you want to do something. Okay, don't even take it into consideration to give up before 3 years. Okay, because when you start something, you are here and you start on a learning curve. Bum, bum, bum. And the learning curve at the beginning is horizontal. So you are learning almost nothing. Then you start learning a bit, okay? And if you are lucky and brave and good enough, then you will succeed, and then the curves can skyrocket, okay? But at the beginning is super tough. So this is for everything, for every kind of business. If I start selling carpet tomorrow, for the first 2 years, I will be in this, more or less in this part of the curve. Then there's a moment then where you have to look in the mirror and say, this is really worth, am I good enough? Is the market good enough to do this business? Am I in the right place to do this business? For example, for me in Italy during the recession was the worst place ever to try a business in architecture. Probably I should have moved and try my business somewhere else, okay? Nowadays, we can easily change, take a flight. I mean, easily, the world is not so open, but we can find a better place, okay? It's difficult, I'm not saying it's easy. A lot of sacrifices, but it's worth to try and to go for your dream. When you are young, do it. If you feel it, if you feel to do it, go. My piece of advice is do it. And then if you fail, you'll be stronger, just stronger. Don't fail, but try not to fail. Eh? Okay. There is another part of.
Yes, I think you've already answered that, but I'll read it again. What give you inspiration and power to reinvent yourself and become a better person apart from culture? If you need to add anything to that.
I think culture is crucial because culture is such a big subject, okay? Studying, get inspired, this is what makes you strong. And action. Exactly. Action together with culture and study. Action is key. In business, action is key. I learned it late in my career. As a dreamer, as an architect, as a creative person, I've spent a lot of time writing ideas down in my book, and I still do it. But when you want to do something, I told you about the performance. You have to do action, action. So reinventing yourself is see something and then do an action. You want to change job, you want to become a chef, for example, who knows, okay? Maybe you love chef, you can do it, you're young, you can do it, okay? What you shall do? You shall study, my opinion. We have a lot of opportunity to study and taste things. We have internet, we have YouTube, we have Coursera, we have, I mean, you can study the books, audio books, whatever. So you really gain knowledge and then trying. And then there is a moment when you say, okay, now let's start. And then it's action, pure action. Okay, take it like a performance, like you have to run, like a, I don't know, a basketball match, a football match, a volleyball match. Take it action like a sport. This is my piece of advice.
Thank you very much for your interesting and full of experience talk, and appreciate you accepted our invitation. Looking forward to host you again.
It will be a pleasure for me. I have a lot of things to talk about.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. And ciao.
Shukran jazilan.
Bye.
Ma salama.
Bye bye. Ma salam.
Ciao.